It looks like it's about it's got a pH of 6 for just the straight RO water. And the pH is about 8 for the one through the filter. So that's a very substantial change. It's definitely way more alkaline, way less acidic water. The new water measures a ppm of 66, and the old one (22). So there clearly is stuff going into the water, 44 parts per million worth, which is very much in line with what it said on the manufacturer's website. So today's project is to try and add 3 stages to my reverse osmosis to increase the alkalinity and just make overall better quality drinking water. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a sample in a cup of the water the way it is right now, and then after I install this thing and flush it through, I'm going to see which one tastes better. Now there is a couple of different ways I can hook this thing up, but because I'm also using my reverse osmosis to feed the aquarium downstairs, I'm not going to run that water that goes to the fish tank through that last 3-stage filter. Instead, I'm going to bypass it and just put a T in there and tee it off. We will start by turning off the water and by closing the tank before I remove any fittings. So right now, this is kind of where this filter will go in. It'll go in right before the last or final stage carbon filter. So the water that comes into here needs to first go into that filter. This is also where I'm going to put the T to go down to the aquarium. All right, so I'll pop this puppy off. These are all push-pulls connectors. That's the final stage. We'll pull this off, and we'll also get rid of this connection. All right, and we'll probably need to take and replace this as well. It's not going to be a T anymore. It's a good idea to have a towel down here as well. Inevitably, there's going to be some dribbling. All right, so this is the line that used to go into that polish filter and also fill up the reservoir tank, which is this line here. So we're going to tee these together, and this is the line for the fish tank. So all of these are going to get teed up. So I'll do that next. Okay, so we got that all teed in. This is now directly connected to that fish tank line. So next up, I've got to get this filter in there, and there is a direction of flow indicator. Water goes that way. I don't know if it shows up in the video, but it does say the flow direction. So we're going to go from that line, also tee that into here, and this one will then go back. This end will then go back to the old polish filter, which is just for drinking water. So I've got the fitting installed on there, and then this is going to be the other T line that goes to the reservoir. Then from the back end of this thing, the line needs to go into here. That covers that off. Hopefully that'll stay for the time being. I'll have to zip tie that or something here to keep this from falling, because it's an addition later on. I don't have the brackets required here. All right, so I ended up changing this T over to a different style of T. That let me put the new membrane behind and actually sit it on the metal bracket for the reverse osmosis, and then just run the wires, then just run the hoses kind of on the back and on the side. And this way, at least it's sitting on something. It's not the most ideal. Ideally, I'd like to have the bracket that actually mounts onto the reverse osmosis, but that's fine. It can just sit on top of this metal bracket. That works for me. So everything is connected up except for the return feed line from the polish filter. So I'm just going to have to put that in there, and then we can give this thing a test. All right, with everything connected, we can go ahead and get those water lines on and purge the top. And we'll check for leaks down here while it's doing that. All right, so far so good. Nothing's leaking. And we are supposed to flush that new that filter out. So I'm going to let that flush out till it's empty, and get all the air and stuff still popping up here every now and again. Get all the air out, and we'll give it a check. I'm going to swap these push pulls as well for this side here, and put it underneath here. I just don't like how tight that is. Yeah, that's much better with a line underneath. So I'll turn the water back on, and no leaks after the line is swapped. Everything else is dry as well. So I'll let the thing fill itself back up. And I turn the water up, and we'll give our new water a taste. So now the real question. Between the two, this is the new one, this is the old one. Can I taste the difference? Let's find out. It's very subtle, but can't tell any color or anything difference. It's really hard to tell. It does have a little bit more something flavor in it. It is slightly different. Whether or not it's worth it based on taste, that would be up for debate. As far as the other stuff that's going to be in the water now, the calcium, magnesium, sodium, and other whatnots in a higher pH, that's probably an advantage. But just based on taste alone, I can't really tell much of a difference. This one has a little bit more of a, it's a little smoother taste, kind of like fresh, I don't know, maybe like mountain spring water, more like that. Oh yeah, now the more I'm tasting, the more I can kind of tell. It is a better drinking water. It's very subtle, but I would say it's very subtle, but it is a bit better. We'll see what the long term kind of thing is with this. Maybe I'm going to notice it more. I also use this for making wine, and I'm not 100% sure if I should use the minerals in the wine or not, but that's another topic for another day. So that's good to see. The filter is clearly working. It's doing its job. So whether or not the health benefits exist, I'm not smart enough to tell you that difference, but I'm told it's supposed to, so I'm happy I made the addition in my house.